Hi, this is Rich from Wings, Wheels, and Wires, and welcome to the Lucid Gravity. In the recent video, right here, I had the opportunity to check out the outside of the upcoming Lucid Gravity, and it was an awesome experience. During this time, I also got to peek inside, and while that was great too, it left me with more than a couple questions. Since that video was released, I attended Electrify Expo in Long Beach, and while there, I swung by the Lucid display. And they did indeed have a Lucid Gravity there. Now, I still did not get the opportunity to test drive one, which I am still very much looking forward to. But they did have it where open and you can hop in and check it out, play with the controls, and sit in the seats. So now that I did, I can answer those questions, which are, is it comfortable? Is there enough legroom? And what's up with those steering wheel controls? Well, the answers to these things are yes, yes, and it's complicated. Let's start with the third row. From the outside, it was clear that there was enough front to back legroom. But what was not so clear from the outside is whether or not there was enough vertical legroom. You see, a lot of third row vehicles don't necessarily have a footwell, but a flat floor, and the seat sits on top of it. The result of this is that your knees actually sit higher than your hips. Now, for short trips, this is no big deal, but on longer trips, the lack of circulation that this creates does cause problems. So, is this the case in Lucid Gravity? Well, see for yourself.
Well, here's your answer. My legs are at 90 degrees, plenty of room, plenty of leg room as well. So it is really great back here, and honestly, these seats are firm but comfortable. I think I could see myself doing a road trip sitting back here.
The seating in all three rows is exactly what I would have expected from a Lucid. They are firm, but yet comfortable. They are just a little bit less firm than the seats in my wife's 2012 BMW 328 convertible. And the seats and the looks of her car are its best features by a long shot. User experience in the third row is pretty basic. You have seats, and that's about it, which is consistent with most third row vehicles on the market. The second row, however, is a more elevated experience. You have a touchscreen control to control things like the ventilation and the heated seats. That is right. This vehicle has heated seats in the second row. There is also a USB-C port on each side in the back of the seat and a fold-out table for working or for kids to do things like coloring. Now let's move on to the front row, which is the pinnacle of luxury. The seats are very comfortable. I felt really good in them, and that's before you add the perks. You see, you also have the option of adding massage seats, which, even though I firmly believe this is a future fail item, in the meantime, they are really nice, especially if you combine them with Lucid's meditation mode. You see, driving can be stressful, and charging stops, while they're inconvenient, can be a great opportunity to de-stress. That being said, I rarely get the opportunity to de-stress during them. I hop out, plug the car in, start up the charging, and then stretch, and then I'll hop in the car and either plan my next stop or I will try to entertain myself until I am done charging. But with Lucid Gravity, you have the massage seating, this meditation mode where it puts you through a guided meditation, and you have these beautiful scenes that match it on this very large immersive display. I think I would have a much easier time relaxing and de-stressing during charging stops. So much so, I might actually start looking forward to charging stops. Not that you're going to get a lot of those with the Gravity's 450-mile range. If you are enjoying this video, please hit that like button down below. While you're down there, hitting the subscribe button would greatly support the channel. And, of course, don't forget to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any upcoming videos. And stand by to the end of the video to hear my new subscriber shoutouts. To be fair, this is not the first vehicle on the market to do this. The Lucid Air has always had this feature, and other manufacturers' vehicles, like for example the Lincoln Nautilus, also have these features. All that being said, though, it doesn't take anything away from the experience of sitting inside Lucid Gravity and enjoying this. Now, I wish I had a video right here to show you what this experience was like, but this meditation is actually a whole sequence that it goes through, and there's so much excitement for this vehicle that there was no way I was going to get that much uninterrupted time to show it. Not that it matters, though, because I honestly believe that a video of this would sell it short. Kind of imagine A video of a roller coaster is nothing compared to actually sitting on the roller coaster yourself. And I would say the much same thing for this. A video can capture the sound, it can kind of capture the image, but it doesn't have the same immersive effect, and you're certainly not combining it with the massage seating. Next, we have the steering wheel. On my previous video, I had noted that in place of things like thumb wheels or buttons on the controls, this vehicle has these small trackpads. Now, I have mixed feelings about these. On the plus side, they do look cool, and they are original, and they are far less likely to fail than buttons would be. That's right, the company that adds complications like motorized sunshades and massage seating has just Elon Musk with his philosophy of the best part is no part by replacing these high use moving pieces with static pieces that are less likely to fail. Now, I had said how I have some mixed feelings about this, and all I've talked about is the positives. So, to understand where my misgivings are, I'm going to have to tell you a little story. My previous phone was an Asus ROG phone. This is a phone that's purpose-built for gaming, and it did a great job. So one day I had the idea to try to use my phone as a gaming console. So what I did is I cast it to my TV, and then I used the phone as a controller while I was playing Genshin Impact. The phone rose to the occasion beautifully. I, on the other hand, did not. You see, on a traditional gaming system, you have a handheld controller with physical buttons. So you're able to focus your vision on the screen that you're watching and feel where the buttons are for the controls. Likewise, if you're playing a game on your phone, you're focusing on a relatively small area where you have both the game you're playing and the on-screen controls. Both of these result in very few finger errors. On the other hand, focusing on a TV screen 5 feet away while you're trying to operate the controls on your mobile device on a smooth sheet of glass doesn't work. It becomes very frustrating with a lot of finger errors. This experience is the source of my concern. Now, for anyone who can't quite grasp the experience that I'm talking about or can't relate to it, you can try this out yourself. Go ahead and grab a laptop and go ahead and download Call of Duty or some other high-intensity game, and then try to play that game using the touchpad on the laptop. Now that I've sat in the car, was this concern justified, though? Well, the answer is I'm not entirely sure. I can say that they worked well enough sitting in a parked car. I made my way through the various menus using the trackpads with no errors. Would this still be the case, however, if I was trying to do this, make my way through the menus, driving at high speed and cornering while dodging idiots playing on their cell phones? I don't know for sure. I think I would have to test drive it and experience it to find out. One thing I did notice is I ended up looking at the screen a lot more than I think I would in most other vehicles. You see, if you're using thumb wheels and physical buttons, you're going to get some amount of feedback through those buttons that you're actually cycling. With the trackpads, you don't have that feedback as near as I could tell. So as a result, I was doing a lot more visual verification on the screen. Now, I think I would have to play with the controls a whole lot more and probably, like I said, drive it for a bit before I could actually tell if this is truly an inconvenience or something that I would just get used to. With time, this is something that could prove to be quite intuitive, and maybe I'll get used to it and become very accustomed to it. A really good example of this is the shifter on a BMW i3. It is a very unusual shifter, and it got a lot of criticism by reviewers. But I got to tell you, in less than 3 weeks, I had become so accustomed to it that it baffled me why people would make a shifter any other way. Now, moving on to some of the other controls this vehicle has, we have stalks. The configuration is pretty standard. The left side stalk is for the windshield wiper controls, which baffles me why any company wouldn't have that. Now, on the right side is your shifter, which is less necessary, I think, than the wiper controls, but I still honestly prefer to have a physical shifter as opposed to trying to shift on the screen. This setup is pretty much identical to the Rivian R1, which I coincidentally just did a video on right here. Didn't get near as many views as I would like, so if you want to support the channel, you can check that video out when you're done watching this one. Now, there is one other thing that this vehicle has that its main competitor, I think of as Tesla, certainly does not have, and that is screens. The Model Y, Model 3, and Cybertruck, all three do not have an over-the-steering wheel display, which I don't know if you've heard me say this in my other videos before, but this genuinely bothers me. If I were to purchase one of those, I would have to go ahead and spend the $300-400 for the add-on screen to put on it, as an aftermarket add-on. Lucid, on the other hand, very much has a screen. You have a slightly smaller control display, but then you also have this very immersive wraparound display. I honestly enjoyed it a great deal. It was very clear, sharp, and I definitely appreciate it. Especially, like I said, when you're doing things like the meditation mode, it's almost like going to an IMAX theater. It's pretty cool. Well, that concludes my review of the interior of the Lucid Gravity. Tell me down below in the comments, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What things did you like most? What things did you like least? And the question I have for everyone is, can you see yourself doing a road trip in this vehicle? All right, don't forget to stick around for the subscriber shout out, and thanks for watching. And now it's time for the subscriber shout outs. If you'd like your own shout out, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and either make sure your name is visible or put in the comments down below that you subscribed. Riverette WA57, Paul Hinden, Rod Harrington. Thanks for subscribing.